Feel like I just did this about a week ago, but you know what? I'm back, and the first thing I have to do is serve a 5-second penalty. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Indy Karting Challenge, Night 2, round number 4 here. If you enjoyed what you got a week ago, you get another night of hard-fought racing here. We're releasing 206 cadets out for qualifying, and it's going to be a fun day here on Kart Chaser. Well, a fun night on Kart Chaser, I should say. Kicking this thing off about 4:23 p.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, I think I'm a little bit better because I had last week to adjust to the later times here. Of course, used to kicking things off at 9 o'clock in the morning. But with me this week is not West Coast, Best Coast. It's Florida man himself, Patrick Coleman, joining me here. We'll see if Patrick can adjust to the morning, afternoon, evening transition here into the night under the lights. Patrick, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, thank you, Brad. And I mean, considering that a lot of the stuff I cover is usually based out of Australia, I think I can handle this transition pretty well. So we'll see if our drivers can handle it well. It'll be under the lights later on. Still a little, it's cloudy. We are expecting some potential rain to come circuit side, but as they go through that beautiful Daytona banking, we are here for another fantastic round of this fantastic series. And Brad, even though we have only 5 206 cadets, we know how this 206 cadet category is going to go. They're going to bring us some fantastic action in the qualifier, in the heats, and in the finals themselves. So overall, it is going to be a fantastic night here at Indy.
Well, listen, if we think about last week, James Fox had a great run through last week out. So if James Fox can pull the good old 2 in a row here, it will be great. You will notice we are back to running a more traditional layout here at the K1 Circuit in Whiteland, Indiana. We are running that nice little inside corner that runs off into Daytona, and we're running the counterclockwise variation of this circuit. We are not running clockwise around. They added back in the run. This is a 1,200 meter setup. So this is more of what you know and expect here at Whiteland in terms of circuit layouts. I really do like this layout, and the tricky section there onto the backstretch, onto that back start finish line, really does give some good opportunities for overtaking. This run into turn 1 is always great, and then of course the long run through Daytona into what is now, with this layout, an uphill 180-degree left-hander down at turn 9 makes for some great action here in Whiteland.
Exactly. So carrying your momentum is going to be so crucial, especially going uphill, and adaptability is going to be another key factor in today's event, as there will be more rubber put down on the track. The drivers had their warm-ups earlier on, and it is time for qualify. We are about halfway through this 5-minute qualifying session, with Bo Laser going to go ahead and top the times at the moment, but less than a tenth of a second ahead of the aforementioned James Fox. So very tight margins here, as it always is. There's always very tight margins in this category, and it's just so much fun to watch these drivers just go through, have a blast of a time here. They're going to be fun people. We're also going to have a fun time doing it. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting time seeing how these 206 cadets make it through. And the gap did increase a little bit, but a new name at the top of the timetables, and that is Jackson McNeely. Now just over a tenth ahead of James Fox.
These times are going to come through here, and of course, last time out, Jackson McNeely was not here, so James Fox was able to go through. We've had a couple of additions here to the class chart and moved some things around. Last time out, we had 51 people. This time out, we've got 50 people registered through. So it's right there around the same number. Now, of course, the back-end sheet, sometimes there's a last-second addition that we miss out. Sometimes there's a couple of people that register in that don't make it. So we will float with that number and confirm it here in just a little bit. 206 Cadet, of course, great competition always happens in this junior category as they head along. This is a class that, well, if you know you know they always have great racing all the way through. And by the way, Diesel Maxwell is out there. Amax Racing, I got a bone to pick with you. Where is the Mohawk for the Maxwell? Why does Diesel not have his Mohawk back again this week? Usually, the Amax driver is always here with a good Mohawk running, and this time he does not. So that is unfortunate to see, and we will, we'll see how it plays out. But we'll definitely get an idea of who's got pace where through. Checkered flag is out for 206 Cadet Qualifying, our first qualifying session here of the night, and James Fox will come across the line to pick up pole on the end by 43 hundredths over Jackson McNeely. What a good run there at the end for James Fox.
Yeah, we know James Fox is a very strong competitor. He has been a force to be reckoned with across a vast multitude of different karting championships. He is definitely one of the names that we always need to watch out for in this 206 Junior. So James Fox has been it's no surprise that he is up at the top of this field, but the gaps though in this field between the top two is just insane. Less than half a tenth of a second, 43 milliseconds between the two, and this is going to be a fantastic series of races. We do have the heats later on today, and then of course we have the finals. So here are your qualifying order for the 206 cadets. It is James Fox, Jackson McNeely, Bo Laser, Diesel Maxwell, the Mohawkless driver this time around, and Kyler Hendrickson, rounding out our 5 206 cadets here in IKC.
From there, we're going to shift orders from 206 cadets. Next up here, KA Junior will be coming on to the track momentarily. You want to talk about a good category that will have a run, and KA Junior is always one to watch. Of course, these drivers always have some great pace, and well, right now, taking a look, it looks like it's going to be a big old fist fight between Jiju Sivakumar and Jordan Lepine, who will have the battle back and forth. Of course, last time out, it was Jordan Lepine who had a great go, won the KA Junior final, and had a great go in the heat, swept the weekend, in fact, I have to say, for KA Junior. So will be one to watch. Jiju Sivakumar came across 7 hundredths of a second slower in qualifying last time out. Let's see how that flips. Of course, track conditions are very different this time to what they were last week. You got to say I am enjoying this weather that we have going on as opposed to what it was last time, even though it's very similar to what it was last time. High of 84 degrees right now, and it's currently with a real feel of 84, 81 degrees, cloudy with an 8-mile-an-hour wind gust out there. And if you remember back a week ago, Patrick, it was muggy. It was 96 degrees was the real field temp.
And that is scorching temperatures. I'm a Florida man. I'm used to experiencing some extremely hot temperatures, but we are well and truly in the thick of summer right now. School's out, the sun's out, and those track temps are going to increase. It is overcast as it sits with a threat of rain. Brad and I were talking about it before the broadcast, that it was expected around 8 or 9 p.m. that we were going to see about a 15% chance of rain, and then that chance of rain is going to continue out throughout the night. Tomorrow has a much higher chance of rain as well, but we're going to focus on the here and now as we get ready to send our second class of the day out, and that is going to be none other than the KA Juniors as they get ready to rock and roll.
Here we go, rolling out 3 KA Juniors take their roll onto the track here. And let's take a look and see who all has decided to play around in the go. Andrew Avalos is out there with Jordan Lepine, Jiju Sivakumar, Nolan Wade. So 4 entries here on the go. Again, some last second entries always adding to the field here as everyone gets rolling through. And in this 2-stroke KA package, sometimes the big key here build up the momentum early and get rolling, because 5 minutes is not a lot of time, especially when a lap around here is about 51 seconds, 51.0 if you're Andrew Avalos in warm up. And well, you got to remember, we're also looking into a 12 round championship season, and we're into round 4 here, round 5. So you got to make sure that here in round 4, you put things together and have a great run.
Yeah, because I mean, we are like, it feels like yesterday that we kicked off this series, but I mean, we're pretty much in the second half of the season. You only got rounds 5 and 6 left to go after today, so it's pretty much at a point where you got to really just fight for this title. You got to really go for it. And I mean, there a lot of pundits and such, when talking about sports in general, whether it's racing, soccer, football, you name it, is like there's one crucial moment that really felt like it kind of made or broke the season for some. But no, it's a consistent effort that you build up over the course of a season. Surely there's one thing that might have kind of sealed the deal, but to get in that position in the first place, you got to go through multiple different rounds of the championship. You got to put in these performances. And you got to think of a championship as like a story, you know. A story isn't exactly just, oh, it's one page, or not any good story anyway. It's just like, oh, it's one page, then you're done and dusted. No, there's pages, there are chapters, sometimes a sequel, but overall, it's a massive overarching story as the new gen racing driver of Jiju Sivakumar tops the timing table at the moment. But kind of the theme of the day here so far, Brad, is that the qualifying gaps are very, very tight. It is once again only 43 milliseconds between Sivakumar and Le Pen. So this is going to be a very spicy qualifier.
Absolutely. New Gen Motorsports here, making a run, looking to make a go, and definitely showing some strong pace right now on track as they work their way along through into the third sector and around towards the front stretch. Siva Kumar, I tell you what, Siva Kumar, Jordan Lepine, and Andrew Avalos, they are separated by less than a tenth of a. Never mind, let me scratch. Nope, I'm bringing that one back. 0.2 of a second right now, separating the top two, with Jiju Sivakumar half second off. They were separated by less than a tenth, and I was going to say, if that's the pace that we have in KA Junior, ultimately, it's going to be an absolutely wild pre-final and final. Of course, pre-finals here on the day, if you are curious, are going to be 7 minutes plus 2 laps, and then finals are 12 minutes plus 2 laps, with a kid kart race mixed in the middle of finals, giving us a little bit of a break. So that'll be fun. And yes, we will be showing you kid karts. We may not necessarily commentate over it, but we will be showing you kid karts. And if you don't know about kid karts, I tell you what, you're missing out. It was a lot of fun last week to get to watch kid karts run around this K1 Whiteland circuit, and to get to watch them this week, it's a lot of fun. And it's really great to get to watch the parents take those super young drivers out and get to watch them run through. That was Jiju Sivakumar running a bit wide there and actually looking to get a draft here behind the top cart, or the Tony cart, forgive me, and trying to look for a bit of pace here. This is going to be an interesting one, because you got to wonder, working for draft, never mind, swap it back. Says, no draft for you, get back in front.
Yeah, I mean, granted, these are not Formula One cars by any stretch, so they don't have the overly advanced aerodynamics, but you'd be surprised how much an aerodynamic advantage drafting can give you. If you get a good slipstream, 2 cars together are faster than, or in this case, 2 karts are faster than 1, and getting a slipstream, especially down the massive back straight that we have here with this layout, it's really going to go ahead and help you as they make the run into what I like to call Pocket Monza. For those of you who are familiar with some of the more European circuits, looking at the track map that we have, the kind of the run after you get through the kind of double hairpin at the end of the straight does look like a miniature version of Monza. We'll probably talk about the track a bit later, as KA Junior qualifying is done. Andrew Avalos currently topping the times, and we will see if that is going to stick. We have seen time and time again that this qualifying order could literally flip up on its head at the end of the session. Everybody's getting their final laps in, trying to maximize their result here. as we see the drivers are going to go ahead and make their way to the line one more time. And we will see how the times
Woo!
go ahead and settle on through. And it looks like Andrew Avalos will take pole by just 21 milliseconds. The entirety of the field separated by less than a tenth of a second. This is cinema right here. This is absolute cinema that we're seeing here. Less than a tenth of a second separating all of our KA juniors.
Yeah, Avalos, Siva Kumar, Jordan Lepine, they will come back out for their heats, 7 minutes plus 2 laps at about 6 p.m. Eastern time. But we're going to take a step aside here at Kart Chaser. When we come back, it's time for your next qualifying session, KA Senior Masters. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental kart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I went to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like 20 bucks a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like 50 bucks a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Kart Chaser grassroots coverage going on right now here from the K1 Circuit in Whiteland, Indiana. Bit of a schedule change for those of you who are at the circuit and those of you watching with us live here. We are combining 206 Masters and 206 Super Masters. They were originally slated to be two separate sessions, so your qualifying will remain as is. In the heats, we will move 206 Junior to follow 206 Senior, or yes, 206 Junior to follow 206 Senior, and then we will combine Masters and Super Masters. What does that mean for everyone? A little bit earlier of a dinner break, a little bit longer of a dinner break. I know everyone likes that because scarfing down a chili cheese dog sounds like a great plan between heats and finals. I don't know if I'd race after scarfing down chili cheese dogs, but hey, you never know. An extra 7 minutes can buy you a bit of time here. Rolling on track right now, though, let's turn our attention to what's on track, and it's KA Senior Master combined here, Patrick. This class gets crazy.
Exactly that. So we know that this class has provided some excellent action over the course of the season, and I am fully expectant that we are going to see that exact same beautiful action from this fantastic category yet again. So we do have 4 karts on track at the moment. Dan Van Dyke, it is Andrew Cockerham, and then Abram Dean and Levi Wilbur will be your 4 karts on the track here today. So we do have quite a few drivers getting ready to go. Levi Wilbur, the lone KA Master on the field today. So that number 6 kart is the only one in his particular category. It is one of the few categories that we do combine here. And this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful run. these drivers do have a good amount more experience comparatively to the two categories we just watched earlier, being the 206 cadets and the KA juniors. But the racing intensity is still the same, but we may see a little more strategy coming into play when it comes to the qualifying. We'll probably see them space each other out quite a bit, or we may see a good amount of that slipstream that we almost saw in the KA junior qualifier earlier, Brad.
Absolutely. Dane Van Dyke, a driver with a lot of experience, of course, won last time out, took it around here through in the KA category, fighting it out with Braden Heber and other drivers alike, and just having overall a great fight there in this KA category, which is always, again, a fun package to really get to watch along here and see how they battle it out. Right now, taking a look here, that is Cockerham, who is currently sitting there in the front in the blue cart and is looking to put in a bit of pace here, a bit of time, and really trying to run the rhythm along and keep the pace through. That behind him, that solid white cart, is following him through. Levi Wilbur, I believe is who that is, who is just sticking right to the back and working the way along, and that is a way to do it. But if you feel like you're quicker, let's go for a pass here into the penultimate corners. That's a good way to do that along here, as they will come across the line, and Levi Wilbur with that pass will now get a bit of free air here over Andrew Cockerham, and will be able to find a bit more pace here, which can be key in senior and masters, keeping that KA package moving and grooving. Very important.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the quirks about the KA package is momentum is probably the #1 buzzword that you have to remember. You have to remember to keep that momentum going. And I mean, I know sometimes some people hate buzzwords. I remember in my time as a college student, the word LinkedIn. Oh, there's a bit of a spin there from Levi Wilbur. And that is unfortunate there, but hey, at least it happened in qualifying where you're trying to set that best lap time. But overall, it is still unfortunate nevertheless, but he is back going, so no harm, no foul. But his heart probably just sank a little bit there.
He's still got a little bit of time to get back going. Of course, we said build momentum, keep momentum, and then that happens. But I think for that #6 of Wilbur, there is still a bit to be built up. Levi Wilbur, a very strong driver who has some good pace and could definitely get things done when they need to be done. So going into this final bit, we will just have to wait and see what happens for Levi Wilbur here, who traditionally we know him in 206. That is one thing I will say for Levi Wilbur. Traditionally, we know him in the 206 master category and running through, but he has a lot of good pace here in KA as well and can pass on runs. Of course, thinking back to round 3 last week, where Levi Wilbur was passing Braden Heber to take the lead of the KA Senior Master Heat, and then was taking the overall lead through fighting it out and coming out in the open laps of moments to get the lead. I mean, having an absolute go along there in round 3, and then of course has experience at MCC Pro-Am Karting Championship as well. So Levi Wilbur very quick, and the checkered flag is out. You want to talk about quick? You've got 4 karts here separated by 1.3 seconds in qualifying.
Yeah, that's a very strong gap, as we see here, as cars are going to go ahead and come across the line. And now here's the thing is that even though the gap is little over a second in between, we do know that these carts will start a lot closer than their gaps may imply. So, I mean, you could start from the back of the field and you could just work your way right on up. So, this should be a fantastic battle between those 4 carts. We know that they can race extremely well together, and we will see how this is going to go ahead and pan out as we get ready for our next category to go ahead and hit the track. The micro and mini Swifts coming at you shortly.
And firing out onto the track now, we are releasing the micro minis to get rolling here and have a bit of fun. And I'll tell you what, when you let the micros and minis get their way out on track, they tend to get a bit crazy here. Kason Hendrickson leading in warm-up over James Fox and Zen Veach. 5 entries into this category here with Diesel Maxwell and Bo Laser. And yes, if those names sound familiar, it probably should as we get rolling through. A lot of times when you see drivers in the 206 cadet category, you tend to also see them come back in the micro mini category. And Patrick, it's one of my favorite things where you get to see these younger drivers getting double the experience on a weekend because they run both categories, different engine package, but hey, racing fundamentals are racing fundamentals. What can I say?
Yeah, you learn those things at a very, very young age. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one is going to go ahead and pan out. It's going to be a good time. I love seeing these juniors go ahead and go out and go ahead and have a good time. These are some very, very, very tameable carts to go ahead and do it with. Although I will still say that it is unfortunate that it is still slightly unfortunate that Maxwell does not have the Mohawk. We're going to miss our Mohawk Warrior in that number 67 cart. And we'll just kind of see how this session does go in terms of who is in which category. It should be a good time. I believe there's only one mini Swift, and I believe the rest are micros, or I might have that a bit backwards, but overall, it is still going to be a fantastic qualifying session here with Hendrickson leading the field. Kason Hendrickson just ahead of James Fox by just under half a second.
These 5 carts running their way along here. When we take a look at the championship standings coming into this weekend, that is where things get pretty interesting here in the standings for this category, because looking at it, it is James Fox again who was kind of running through him. Kason Hendrickson and Zen Veach ran through together last time out, and James Fox was able to take the win over Kason Hendrickson between the pre-finals and the finals. Kason Hendrickson, of course, won that pre-final, picked up some points there. James Fox over Leet Simonellic currently is picking up a massive points haul. It's only 11 points right now, but Leet Simonellic, again, not here this weekend. That is going to allow a big run in the championship in this micro mini category, which is going to be a big deal, you have to say, whenever a driver unfortunately misses out on 2 weekends in a row. Missed out last weekend, missing out this weekend here for Simonellic.
Yeah, that's always I mean, it always just kind of blows the doors of possibility wide open, doesn't it, Brad? When you have somebody who has been as potent in this category as Leet Simonellic, and I mean, it could just really just change the whole dynamic of it. Like we said earlier, that the championship is a massive storybook, but when a character gets ran out, that really kind of hampers their role in the championship. So with Leet Simonellic not being here, it does open the door for a new championship protagonist to make themselves known. So we could see some fantastic racing action coming up here today, and it'll be interesting because, like you said earlier, Simonellic has been a major player in this championship all season long, but missing out on 2 weekends in a row doesn't exactly do your points tally any favors. So we'll just see who will take the mantle in his stead. Right now, it is still Kason Hendrickson leading the field by just under, or little over a tenth of a second, 129 milliseconds between them. The entire field separated by just about a second.
And that gap, as time goes, we should get this lap plus one more from all of these carts. I would imagine is going to compress. Actually, looking at the time, I don't think anyone will get more than the lap they're currently on out here, as it takes about 54 seconds to run a lap, and well, we've got 15 seconds left to go in the time, so do the math on that. Not a lot of room for the go. Through turn 9, up the hill we go into the third sector. Kason Hendrickson currently has a 10th.5 up. Zen Beach can't improve. James Fox cannot improve. Checkered flag is now out. Bo Laser will be locked into third. And right now you have Veach and James Fox who get a bonus lap here because they crossed the line with about 5 seconds to go, if even that. So they get one more opportunity to improve. That is going to be massive because that means they get 6 laps instead of 5 on this qualifying session. Let's see if they can take advantage of the opportunity. Looking over the shoulder here, tucking the helmets, doing everything that they need to do. Currently sitting 2nd and 4th respectively, and they're chasing a 54.035 last time. Actually, they're chasing a 53.605. That's the best time for Kason Hendrickson, and that is a hard-fought run. Last time over, it was a 53.9 for Zen Beach. Coming into the final goes, they run across the line. Neither of them improves. They lock in and 4th respectively here in Mini Swift. That is all of our KA packages done. We're now going to shift over into the 206 categories, and it's a total different style of engine, but the racing is just as competitive. And as we shuffle into the next categories here, karts firing on the track, and you see AMAX Racing down there being represented on the grid as we get ready to roll 206 Senior. This is a category that is our largest of the day and is probably going to be one of those categories that makes me hide my eyes more than once. Gigi Sivakumar was fastest in warm-up here. Nolan Wade, Eli Marsh, Maxon Klebe, Parker Dunn, Maximus Sewer, Andrew Avalos, and Samuel Wade. 8 karts took place in warm-up. We'll see how it rolls out here for the go, because I see more than 8 karts right now for this category ready to roll. Patrick, I tell you what, we were just talking about it. 206 Junior, or 206 Senior, tends to be some of the craziest stuff here going through, and, well, there were 21 karts registered. I just read off the 206 Junior, but 21 206 Seniors registered in warm-up. We see them get rolling. Give me some predictions. Give me some thoughts. What are we thinking?
Ooh. You know, I'm usually not the greatest at these prediction type things, but I mean, it's going to be a very, very interesting session. This tends to be one of our biggest categories here. At least according to my back-end chart, there were 18 signed up previously. I know there's been a few more since then. But yeah, this is by far the biggest class that we have here. So I think we're going to see the most amount of action. Braden Heber, you know, he's a driver you always got to keep an eye on. So we'll see how he does here this time around. Also fantastic 206 as well. I mean, Alex Cooper, another driver, and then Raider Santos, who I believe actually just got his driver's license not too long ago. So congratulations to him. I know that's a very big deal. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe that getting a driver's license will give him a little bit of a motivation booster. Hey, I mean, one thing's for certain, even though you just got your driver's license, last time I checked, there's no turn signals on these carts, so you don't have to really yield. Just put your foot to the floor and just have fun.
Yeah, big shout out to the mom of Raider and Nico, Laura Santos, sending me that message through. Braden Rudder just graduated from Whiteland Community High School as well. Not sure that he's racing this weekend, but hey, big shout out to him. Nevertheless, here, Raider just now graduating, and this is the first season of Raider and Nico both running in the 206 senior category together. If you think back to last year covering this track, one was in senior, one was in junior. Now they're both in senior, and well, I got to say that might make dinner a little bit awkward depending on how well they get along and, well, what happens on track. Because if we think over to other events we've covered, sometimes that sibling rivalry can get a bit strong. And, well, we'll see how it plays out for the go here. Your point standings in 206 senior going into this weekend, by the way, as things shuffle all over the place. But your points leader, Braden Heber, right now in 206 senior, is now also at the top of the timing table by 63 thousandths over Colton Kelly, or over Levi Wilbur on the timing table, but in the points, it's 25 points between Braden Heber and Colton Kelly. Andrew Goldman third, Levi Wilbur fourth, and Gavin Haltom is fifth place in your 206 senior championship. Again, we're only going into round 4 of 12, but you can lose points, you can gain points quickly, and you never know how much one weekend will mean over the next.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, granted, championship leads, they're not always set in stone, right? Because, I mean, we've seen plenty of instances in the real world where a points lead doesn't exactly translate super well. I mean, just look at the game, what was it, game 3, I think, between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. I think, what was it, San Antonio had like a 30-point lead and then they still lost it, so I mean, I know Braden Hebert is a fantastic driver. His resume pretty much speaks for itself here. But in the meantime, you got to keep that consistency up. You can't take your foot off the gas at this stage of the championship. You're in the latter half now. If anything, you got to put your foot to the floor a little bit harder to try to continue to hold on to that momentum. And speaking of momentum, these carts are carrying a lot of momentum coming through the Daytona banking. Now, I know we talked about it the last time you and I specifically covered this course, Brad, but that banking looks like it's so much fun to drive on.
Absolutely it does, and I love it. I really, really need to make the trip out here and drive this track around a bit. Even if it's just in a rental cart, I need to get out here and do it. Shuffling of the timing table is commencing. Colton Kelly now up to the top. Tied identical time to Braden Heber. But Colton Kelly gets pole as of right now, provisionally, because he set the time first. So Colton Kelly tied in time with Braden Heber. That 0.000,
Wow.
That is accurate. That is not a glitch. And yes, your top 3 are separated by under a tenth of a second right now. So let's keep an eye on how that goes. Your top 9 separated by 1 second, and your top 16 of 19 carts on track separated by a second and a half. There is massive pace here, and these 206s sticking nose to tail. Those little minute differences can make such a big impact. As checkered flag is out on qualifying, let's see how the times roll up as that front half of the pack is rolling into the go here in 206 senior. Coming across the line first, it is going to be a run of Braden Johnson, Maxwell Lund. Levi Wilbur will jump to the top by a tenth of a second. Colton Kelly and Braden Heber with no response here. Gavin Haltom will move up the order a little bit, but on top, Levi Wilbur, Colton Kelly, Braden Heber, with Braden Johnson, Raider Santos, Adam Maxwell there of Amax Racing, AJ Lund, Zachary Allen, Gavin Haltom, and Reed Esslinger, your top 10 locking themselves in here.
Yeah, that was a very tight qualifying session there between these guys. So can't wait to see what they do when they get to their heats later on today. But before then, 206 Supermasters will be your next qualifier coming at you shortly.
cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
And getting ready to roll out next here onto track is going to be 206 Super Masters rolling out. Again, a reminder here for your run later. 206 Super Masters will be combined with 206 Masters for the heat and for the final, but here in qualifying, they are keeping them separated. And I've not seen a kart with a reverse function before. That's kind of impressive. Actually, wait, he was doing that with his foot. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I was like, I didn't know that the karts that weren't shifters had gearing like that, but no. Okay, so that being said, we are waiting to get these karts rolling out on track and going for their 5 minutes plus qualifying session here. And let's see, as the gate opens, we get rolling. They are ready to go here. And let's talk about it here for your Supermaster Championship, Patrick, because in the Supermaster Championship for 206, William McLaughlin currently leads Joseph Stevens, Tom Stevens, Wesley Bullock, and Steve Prackle, your 5 Supermasters that have taken to these rounds here. Last time out, it was William McLaughlin with a great lead through, and it's William McLaughlin and Tom Stevens here. No Joseph Stevens this weekend.
Yeah, that is unfortunate to see. Hopefully we'll see them back for rounds 5 and 6, but as it sits right now, unfortunately we are missing both of those fantastic drivers. So, but we'll still have a good time here as these drivers go ahead and get ready to run through here. And yeah, like you said, it is currently William McLaughlin going ahead and leading with 402 points to his name at the moment. So this should be a good one. And then you add on some of the other classes he has competed in. A grand total of 603 points to William McLaughlin. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that lead. He has won the last couple of races here, rounds 2 and 3. He has won both the heat and the finals. So he is currently, if we take a look at it, he's actually on a 4-race winning streak here in the IKC. So we'll see if he can keep it up. But right now he is currently behind Mr. Tom Stevens. But once again, kind of the story of the day is pretty minimal for the most part in these classes.
That they have here, and it's interesting to see with Stevens and McLaughlin the way they're going through this qualifying together back and through, because usually McLaughlin's able to pull a pretty quick, strong gap there in that number 1 plated kart, but this time not. By the way, let's talk about schedule here while we've got a moment and look ahead here. As I mentioned, this is round 4 of a 12 championship season. Next round, July 5th. So it is a Sunday. It is, of course, the day after the 4th of July. It is July 5th, and then July 25th, another night race. August 15th, another night race. August 29th, another night round. And then September 19th, September 26th, 2 daytime rounds. October 17th, and then October 31st, Halloween at night, will be how we finish out the season. I gotta say, maybe don't give bonus points there on October 31st if you show up and you dress up. You know, imagine someone dressing like Shrek or something, driving a go-kart around. I could see that happening. You know, I think that would be a good way for Halloween. Dress as a skeleton and drive a go-kart around. I'm just saying, I'd give some bonus points for that if I'm allowed to, and I say I'm allowed to, so I would.
I see what you did there. Skeleton bonus points. I see what you did there, Brad.
Exactly. I'm glad you caught that.
I mean, we both graduated with PhDs from the Academy of Puns, and very, for the lack of a better phrase, very, very iffy puns and connections. So we can get away with that kind of stuff for every once in a while. I mean, that's also the perfect time to say that you got a bone to pick with somebody, you know? I mean, I'm just saying, the potential is there. And I can just imagine just some of the crazy Halloween costumes that we could see on track. You'd probably have to still wear your helmet, though, I'd imagine. So I doubt they would allow you to forego the helmet in the name of Halloween drip. But I will say, seeing like Jack Skellington or, you know, Woody from Toy Story just racing around would be very fun. We'll see. And I mean, yeah, it'll be fun. Actually, you know what? When I go to my local K1, if I'm racing, I'm gonna try to wear a Halloween costume on track. So I don't know which one I'm gonna do because I haven't dressed up for Halloween in several years, but the idea has been planted now in my brain, and I feel like the Masters and Super Masters would have probably the most fun doing this.
Honestly, they would. That's kind of why I bring it up in this category, because I know that Masters and Super Masters would have the best time with it. Also, for the record, don't wear a cape, whatever you do, if you're going to run a go-kart in a Halloween costume. Don't run a cape. If you don't know why capes are bad, you should watch The Incredibles, the original one, because The Incredibles will teach you why capes are bad. Edna does a great job of explaining why capes are bad, and, well, if you still want a cape after that, you know what? More power to you, but it's a bad decision. Qualifying timer is over. These are the final laps here for the 206 Super Masters before they get combined down with the Masters to have a bit of fun. And coming across the line, it will be William McLaughlin over Tom Stevens. The gap 0.6 of a second at the end of qualifying. We're going to take a step aside. When we come back, it is just a couple more categories to go, and then we are ready for some heat racing.
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now This is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Whiteland, Indiana circuit here for the K1 Circuit in Whiteland, Indiana for the Indy Karting Challenge. Let's say those words in the proper order as they are. 2 more categories left to go here for the free coverage on Kart Chaser, and then we step behind the paywall, and your Kart Chaser members get to watch everything live. And if you want to become a Kart Chaser member, it's $9.99 a month on YouTube. Hop on your PC, sign up. Don't do it on an Apple device because they'll charge you $3 extra for no other reason than the fact they charge you $3 extra because you paid more for a phone. So don't do that. It's $9.99 a month. Sign up on your PC. Get access to all of the great action as it happens, and that includes the SCUSA Grand Nats from MCC tomorrow. All of the Sunday racing will be on the go tomorrow here on Kart Chasers. So if you want to enjoy that, become a member. I'll be hanging out watching that tomorrow. I hope you will join me there. Again, $9.99 a month. Penultimate qualifying session here, Patrick. It is the 206 juniors ready to roll here. Jiju Sivakumar, Nolan Wade, Eli Marsh. That was the top 3 in warm-ups. And right now, in points, Tyler Nash Turner is on top with Jiju Sivakumar in second, a matter of 9 points separating them. Here's the interesting thing. You know who we don't have this weekend? Tyler Nash Turner. Or at least we didn't in warm-up.
Aren't here are probably at SCUSA, I would imagine. But otherwise, it's still a very good field here today. Andrew Avalos still on the circuit. We saw him putting in some pretty good performances in qualifying earlier in one of our earlier classes. Jiju Sivakumar also wanting to get a good result here as well. And we see some very, very talented names here on the board. And I mean, all these drivers probably have more skills behind the wheel than I ever will. And that's the thing, is that they're so... this group is a young group, so they have a very high ceiling to hit. And honestly, I think these guys are just getting started. Can't wait to see these guys absolutely mature and go ahead and grow as people and as racing drivers. We could have some real stars on the track here right now.
Absolutely. And for reference, for those of you wondering, it is only about a 2-hour drive between Batavia, Ohio, and Whiteland, Indiana, give or take a bit. So there will be some drivers that will be shuffling back and forth between the two, again, depending on your team obligations, depending on, you know, whether you are trying to run that national event through. But a lot of these drivers here that are here and not over at SCUSA, they have great pace, they have great talent. That's the fun of karting. You don't necessarily have to hit the national scene to get some screen time here, and that's what's fun about getting to cover all of the grassroots coverages. We get to see some of the drivers who, you know, may not necessarily always want to make the run to the national scene. Sometimes they love staying home and competing and really having that go. It makes a big difference here for them, as Nolan Wade, Parker Dunn, Samuel Wade, your top 3. And yes, that is 2 Wades on the top. Another family affair here going on in 206 Junior, just as we saw in 206 Senior. So, will the Wades have any love lost for the two as they run their way along? Well, right now, Parker Dunn is decided to be on top here by 0.03 of a second over Nolan Wade, with Maximus Stewart 0.05 of a second behind Parker Dunn. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. You can see here in qualifying just how 206 Juniors truly run this thing here, Patrick. They love to be friends and enemies all at the same time, and even in qualifying, sometimes it's hard to get them to work with each other.
Yeah, I think we talked about it the last time that you and I covered MCCA. here, Brad. And it's just that the juniors, they will treat every session like a racing session. Like, you know, teamwork is a suggestion, and they're still going to race with the mentality of, I am faster than you, so I am going to pass you. Despite the fact that you are trying to go for the best lap time, but at the end of the day, they're having fun. They're having a grand old time as this order has really just been shaken up here. Siva Kumar on the top of the timing table at the moment. And he has got just shy of a 4/10 of a second gap to a Nolan Wade. Best time to beat right now is a 58.047. Best lap to beat with Nolan Wade was a 58.443. And actually, there's only a singular thousandth of a second between P2 and P3, and Max and Klebe only behind by a singular thousandth of a second by 0.001. So right now the top three separated by less than 4/10 of a second. The entire field is encompassed by just over 3/4 of a second. And with 1 minute to go in qualifying, this is going to be an absolute treat here for us tonight.
That it is. Coming across the line here, starting the final laps. Juju Sivakumar even faster last time through. Maximus Stewart, Max and Klebe, Andrew Avalos, everyone responded, but Juju Sivakumar just put down the throttle and got a bit faster in that 808 kart coming up into this final lap. So 1 lap to go. Can Sivakumar respond again and just go a little bit faster still? That's going to be the goal here. 10 seconds left to go up into the backstretch. And this is where things get real interesting for me in qualifying because they've only done 4 laps. This is lap number 5 for these drivers. So you would think, realistically, this will be their best lap. But sometimes you find that lap 4 is the best, and it really ends up in a weird back and forth based on how much the drivers pushed early on. Did they give the tires time to breathe? Checkered flag flying here. Nolan Wade up to 4th. Juju locks in. Max and Klebe pulls 2nd place over Parker Dunn. Maximus Stewart will have 4th place. Nolan Wade locks in 5th. Andrew Avalos, Samuel Wade, Eli Marsh, your 8-206 juniors for your penultimate qualifying session. Final qualifying session coming up here in just a moment's time. 206 Masters will roll, and when 206 Masters are done, we'll take a short break, step behind the paywall, and then, of course, from there, we start our heat runs in 206 Masters. Well, let's talk about that for a second, Patrick, because it's been a Troy Toney show for the first 2 rounds. Troy Toney wasn't here round 3.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can bounce back and bring that momentum back in. But like you said, he's got a pretty healthy points gap here. It's 402 to 376. Chad King in P2 in this 206 Masters category. And just an additional 36 points behind is Jesse Bullock. So we'll just kind of see how these drivers go ahead and go through at this stage of the championship here in round number 4. And this is going to be a good run here. We do have, I believe it's 5 karts here in this category. And this is going to be a good run here. Actually, I think we have 7. According to my information, we have 7 karts ready to take to the track. And with these Supermasters, so it'll be 9 karts total when we get to the heats. But before we get there, we go through the qualifying session as the drivers are getting ready to be sent out for our final qualifier of the session before we take that step behind a paywall and we get ready to turn up the heat with some heat racing.
And 206 Masters rolling out on track here to get this final qualifying session underway. And I gotta say, grasshoppers love cameras, but I would prefer to see the karts on track. So shout out to our amazing camera crew here in Whiteland, bringing you all of our coverage today. Troy Toney, J. Brian Williams, Chad King, Alex Cooper, Jared Spansel, Todd Albertson, and Nick Bailey. The 7 karts rolling here for 206 Masters. I gotta tell you, Troy Toney being back, he missed round 3. He's here for round 4. Good to see Troy Toney back out here on the circuit. And again, Chad King, your 2nd in points. Jesse Bullock, your 3rd in points. Tyler DeMann, Tom Harleman, Evan McCorkadell. We haven't seen Evan since round 1, and it was a DQ in round 1. Nick Bailey, Jason Irvin, and Jared Spansel, your 9 in points. So a lot of new names here coming through for this round of 206 Masters qualifying, but it will be good to see how they all do along here. J. Brian Williams specifically is a driver that I'm very interested in seeing how he does here. J. Brian Williams, I don't think we've seen since round 1 all the way through, where it was a big fight between J. Brian Williams, Troy Toney, and Evan McCorkadell. They had a big old back and forth for them.
Yeah, now coming into round 4, we'll see how these drivers go ahead and go through. Because, I mean, I know Troy Toney, he's got a very commanding lead in the championship. But we got to focus pretty much right here on the here and now in our final qualifiers. So it can set you up for a good rest of the day, or it can make for a bit of a tricky procession as these karts are going on through. Brian Williams does lead the field at the moment. J. Brian Williams in that 475 kart, currently leading by just over half a second. A 58.748 is your time to beat at this stage of qualifying, but as a lot of the drivers are going to go ahead and try to go back through, times are rolling through. Chad King currently leads now, the 2nd driver to break into the 57s with a 57.792, with Troy Toney at a 57.895. At the moment, the only 2 drivers in that 57 range. We'll probably see a few more drivers break through as they come to the line here with the final 2.5 minutes of qualifying on the day. And I think probably the biggest thing I'm going to be really keen on seeing is how these drivers adapt. Because right now, I mean, it's overcast, about 6% chance of rain, so probably won't see the rain here, but the temperature is expected to drop a little bit, and of course the sun will, I mean, the sun's behind the clouds anyway, but it'll become nighttime, so that will change how the track kind of behaves. And then you'll also be racing under the lights here at Whiteland, Indiana. Chad King still proving that he is the king of the 206 Masters as he jumps up to the top of our timing tables at the moment, but only 0.04 of a second ahead of J. Brian Williams. Championship leader Troy Toney only in 3rd right now, but there's still another 1.5 minutes left to go here in the session, Brad.
Plenty of time left for these drivers to find improvements here. It should be this lap plus 1 more. Lap time sitting around 57 to 58 seconds for the top 5 here for Nick Bailey and Todd Albertson. A little bit more time to find for them, I would say, but they should also get this lap plus 1 more. They are running just outside of about 60-ish seconds on the go. It's going to be interesting to watch Troy Toney here, because right now Troy Toney not at the top of the table. Troy Toney, of course, won round 1 and won round 2, both pre-finals and finals. So we'll see if Troy Toney is able to repeat that go. Starting final laps here, J. Brian Williams has now jumped up to the top of the timing table, and that's something in 206 Masters. If you can get up there and hold that gap, he's up by 0.07 of a second right now. He is over Chad King. It's a 57.486 to a 57.555. If he can keep that momentum true, well, for J. Brian Williams, I mean, it's possible for him to make a big stamp in this thing as he will look to send it along. 15 seconds left to go on the timing table.
15 seconds left on the clock here, and we'll see how our final order of qualifying sits for this 206 Masters category as they all make their way coming on through. And we're going to see our first batch of times come across the line. It is checkered flag out for the 206 Masters that will come across the line. Will there be improvements? King is back on top. And Chad King will prove that he is the king of the 206 Masters in this session. 3/10 out of J. Brian Williams. And then you got Troy Tony, Alex Cooper, Jared Spancel, Nick Bailey, and Todd Albertson rounding out our final qualifier of the session in 206 Masters.
All right. That is qualifying done and dusted here from Whiteland, Indiana. We're going to take a step aside, and when we come back, if you're a Kart Chaser member, I'll see you on the other side. If you're not, $9.99 a month. Become a member. Join us in. And by the way, if you're wondering what $9.99 a month is, I found out that in Australia, it's about $16 a month. Join us, though, on the other side. You can see the heats and the finals live as they happen. 7 minutes plus 2 laps for the heats, 12 minutes plus 2 laps for the finals, and we're going to show you kid karts. Come on. Join for the kid karts alone, but nevertheless, we're going to take a step aside when we come back. It's time for more racing here at the Indy Karting Challenge in Whiteland, Indiana. It's myself, Brad, joined by Patrick with our beautiful production team here in Whiteland. We'll be back.
K1 Circuit, the world's greatest outdoor karting facility, is now open. Open karting and rental session schedules are available online. Rentals will resume today after the race event at 5 p.m. Thanks to Kart Chaser for live streaming the event at K1 Circuit. Your coverage will resume shortly.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. And today, we're doing some upper back movements. Here we go. Exercise number 1 today we're doing is the reverse grip lat pull down. This exercise movement is one of my favorites because it works your grip strength, your biceps, and most importantly, works that lat area that also protects those ribs in the seat. Exercise number 2 today, the dumbbell chest supported row. Don't forget, good stretch at the bottom, and bring them right to your hips like that, keeping your back nice and arched, shoulders back. Think about having good posture in the cart. Exercise number 3, the inverted Smith machine rows. Grip strength, back strength, overall amazing workout. Thanks again for joining me on another Kart Chaser Driver Fitness episode with me, Chris G. Race-ready training that carries into real life.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Guys, another Kart Chaser Driver Fitness episode with me, Chris G. Today, I'm gonna show you how to protect those ribs in the seat. We're doing core. Exercise number 1 is the bench leg raise. Controlled all the way down, full range of motion. Make sure you pick up that tailbone off the pad. Coming down, controlling. Great for the lower abdomen area and obliques. Floor slider mountain climbers, exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, the plate-loaded decline bench sit-up. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chris G Coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do.